Hey guys, welcome to the RAMZPAUL show. It's Friday and I've been mixing things up. So Friday, I'm just doing like an open forum type of thing where we'll discuss whatever you want. And I got a couple of things I want to discuss. But if you want to call in, let me give you a link. I'm gonna have this. It's a StreamYard link. You can call in and ask a question. Just keep it brief. I hope I don't have to block anyone or ban anyone. So I'm going to put this in chat. Hopefully you guys can see it. So if you have a question or something, just join in, and that'd be a lot of fun. Yeah, we're not going to do night owls tonight. Sasha's got to go somewhere early in the morning. So I'm just doing this show tonight. It's been a busy week though. I've had a lot of fun, and I hope you guys are doing well. There's a lot of stuff to cover tonight. And I decided to just kick back. I was busy all day today, so I just got a glass of wine. I just thought we'd sit back and talk about some of the crazy stuff that's happened today. And again, let me just copy that. That I'll put that in also. Here we go. I'll put that in to Rumble here. Hey, I already got someone. Fanny's dress. If you want to join, you got to connect your mic. I'm not going to do any cam today, so if you want to connect, Fanny's dress, you don't have your mic ready, so I'm going to kick you until you get that fixed. But feel free to call in, and we'll just kind of shoot the breeze for a bit here. We did get some. Initially, it looked like good news, but it's not necessarily, and it's the Penny situation. He's a guy that stopped that black drug addict from attacking people, that white guy. And you've probably seen this, a district attorney, she has it out for white people, especially white Christians. She brings a story that supposedly her grandparents were killed in the Holocaust because of course. And she has a lot of resentment to white people. Even though American whites fought against the Nazis, it doesn't matter. You're all dirty Nazis. That's her point of view. So she decided to press charges against Daniel Penny, even though when there was a black guy that literally murdered an old lady. She was 87 years old at the ATM machine trying to get out her money. A black guy comes up to her, pushes her down, robs her money. She dies. And this district attorney, oh, so sad. Oh, I just feel sorry for him. So he got hardly any penalty. He got off. So that's okay with her, right? A young black guy mugging someone at an ATM machine and murdering him. She's okay with that. Oh, what's so sad? But a white guy defending people, oh, he harmed a black. You can never harm a black. That's the standard that they have here. So let's see here. Yeah, so that is what this is. But anyway, so Daniel Penny, the manslaughter charge was dismissed because the jury, they were in deadlock, so they disagreed. But that's not necessarily a good thing because they should have thrown out the whole case. And what this means is, Eon says here, they're getting him on negligent homicide charge. He's still going to go to prison if the jury convicts. So what they're doing is kind of a compromise. This district attorney that had the thing out for white Christians. How dare you harm a drug addict that's been convicted prior of hassling and robbing people. You can never do that. And so instead of manslaughter, they're okay, we'll just throw out that charge. But how about negligent homicide, which is a lower standard of proof? So we will see that. Hey, I already got a caller, and K-Max McDonald, how you doing? What's your question?
Hey, Paul, what's up? Is this format just ask a question but then get off, or sorry?
Yeah, I'd rather have people on this. You can stay on a minute or so, but it's just kind of quick, so I get people on and off. So yeah.
The question was, and you probably covered this week, but the New York CEO who was killed.
Yes. Was it Brian Thompson or something like that?
How does the dissident right feel? I guess there's always different views, but my main question was I think we tend to be more of a cultural right wing, but we don't really defend, economic shitheads or, extreme laissez-faire Ronald Reaganomics with like, oh, these greedy CEOs, we defend them too, Rams. Do you tend to feel like he kind of got what was coming to him, or do you think we need to take it as, oh, the left is? I feel it's a little like the game tries to say, oh, the right wing should attack the left wing for this, when maybe this would be something we could unite on about health insurance CEOs.
Yeah, of course. Let me put out the first disclaimer. I do not advocate anyone breaking the law, and so the guy that did this, if he's caught, he needs to be put on trial, and if he's found guilty, he should get the appropriate penalty. So I just want to put that out there. I do not advocate anyone doing this type of thing. Having said that, though, my first reaction would be is similar if, let's say, some mafia head guy, and this used to be common in New York City, was gunned down in a pizzeria or something. You know, I think some guy named Crazy Joe was. I was watching The Irishman, and it's based on a true story. He was late night at an Italian restaurant, and they did a hit on him. His wife was there. They just killed him. You know, so I don't advocate that. I don't advocate violence, but I don't really have much sympathy for the person that was killed at all. The guy that was killed, how many people did he kill? Because he put in this AI tool that rejected like 90% of claims. And a lot of people, they had, could have serious health consequences, or they need treatment, and United Healthcare would deny it. And it could mean they don't get the treatment, so they died. So how many people did he involve killing? And so I don't, now just to be clear, I'm not saying it's right to tell him, but I'm saying I'm not really that sympathetic towards him. No, it's like, okay, he engaged, he made a lot of money off the misery of other people, and all he cared about was getting the stock price up to help his Christmas bonus, but that's not going to do him any good right now. So I do think
it's like, oh, sorry. I was going to say it's like a good analogy is like, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't advocate. I would tell people not to do it. Right. But if it happened, I'd go, you know what? You live by the sword, you die by the sword. Like you should not expect this behavior if you keep doing what a guy like him did. Like,
yeah, it's kind of like the mafia leader. You don't advocate them being killed, but that's the line of work they're kind of in. And I don't know. I saw they're already worried because I saw on Twitter or X that all these CEOs of insurance companies are taking their name off. Did you see that? They're kind of hiding that.
And real quick, do you think this is organized, or do you think it's just one individual vigilante, or because the media was even speculating, they're like, was this an organized hit? Or the
my guess, it was just a guy on his own, and it's probably someone that was screwed, or his family members were screwed by their policies. And he decided to fight back. Again, that's pure speculation on my part. I don't think it was like the Russians or anything like that. I don't even know if it's a professional hit. It was just someone.
More attempts will be tried, or do you think the CEOs will really be protected now, so there won't be any more attempts, or is it hard to say?
Well, why it's got him worried is because unless you're the president of the United States, and even then, as we saw, President Trump was almost assassinated, and he's the president or former president. So even if you have a bodyguard and stuff, like Crazy Joe back in the 70s, who was a mafia head, that was gunned down, he had a bodyguard with him, didn't do any good. So if someone is really intent on killing you, there's not much you can do about it unless you stay holed up all the time. But I assume a lot of these people, they want to be able to walk, and they want to go to a public restaurant. What are you going to do? You like at your favorite Italian place, and you have your bodyguard, and someone just jumps up, puts a gun in your head, and pulls the trigger. How do you protect against that? The only way you can is by constantly being in hiding. But who wants to be that? You don't want to be in that situation. So I think it is going to have some impact. And I think they were really surprised how a lot of people weren't so outraged by this, and not necessarily advocated for this, but it was yeah, it was both on the left and the right. So getting back to your original question, I do think it reflects a frustration in our healthcare system, how insurance companies screw people over. I joked like, oh, all they have to do is to find the suspect is to see who this company screwed over. That should narrow it down to 20 million people. 20 million. Yeah, so it's like everyone's been screwed by insurance companies. I do. Everyone. I just had a lady text me today. She had been screwed by the insurance companies. That's just the way they work in America. And it's just bizarre. I never know how it works. I just get random bills. I think I pay it off, then I get more. So it's really frustrating. And this guy, the company he led was the worst of paying
Worst. I've
out,
heard
yeah,
that. You know,
by
yep.
far. And they tried to weasel it out. He was saying, "Oh, I'm going to start having emphasizing wellness," you know. And I'm like, "Well, that's nice, but we not want an insurance company that's going to pay for cancer treatment, heart
Yes.
attacks, that stuff. We don't want this bullshit. Like, oh, we're emphasizing wellness, so what we're going to provide is our insurance company provides you a pamphlet on how to stay healthy. No, that's not what I want. I want that's going to pay the doctor, you know." And so this guy was a slimy guy. He tried all that sort of stuff. Oh, we're going to use AI to screw people. Oh, really? Great. Thanks for that.
You could eat
So,
everything perfect, work out, and you'll still get something. Health is not like you have total control. Something can still
yeah,
happen.
I never understood this. And some people push back on this a little bit. My doctor, I have a family physician and I don't go to the doctor often, maybe once a year. And I said, one of the things that's happened, we got rid of smoking, but it's increased obesity. He goes, yeah, you're right. And let's say if we eliminate smoking, so then people live longer, but eventually they're still going to get sick somewhere down the line, right? You're just
Cancer.
pushing it off.
Yeah.
In a way, you could think that encouraging people to smoke, get cancer, and die early, that helps Social Security.
Yeah.
So the financial argument is kind of stupid. But we want health care. I don't want health care to pay for all this mental illness bullshit that most of us
Or
bullshit.
trans.
All these millennials. Oh, I'm depressed. I need my pills. Oh, well, buy it on your own. I don't want to pay for like breast augmentation or
Yeah.
facelifts, and I don't want it to pay for gender affirming care or anything like that. And I agree, everyone needs skin in the game. But as I said the other night, it seems like only the middle class are screwed, because if you're real rich, let's say you're Scott Adams, what do you care? You can afford great assurance. In worst case scenario, if you're worth like $75 million, you just, oh, whatever. I owe 100,000. Oh, well, but
Right.
someone middle class, that's like your savings, your whole life, and just destroys you. And if you're real poor, ironically, you don't care because you get it basically for free or illegal. So, what are you going to do? Like if you're real poor and they take it to collections, you're like, yeah, I don't make any money. I don't do anything. What are you going to do? And so it's the middle class that really gets screwed with this current system. And I understand a lot of the problems with that. So
I know to go. I just send you a funny rant too. You get to the next.
I will do that. I will do the rant. So
Row
that's
House
good.
something, but you'll love it. All right.
Yeah, I will do that here. And I'll just put out the link again if anyone else wants to call in. So thank you. We'll just kind of shoot the breeze tonight
Talk to you
then.
later, man.
All right, thank you. And I will get his rant here. And thank you for the rant. This is Rowhouse. The first story, Rams wishes to devote 10 minutes. Let's see here. This this was a kind of I don't know. It's kind of funny, really. Let me see here. Let me refresh this here. All right. This is, it's funny because I keep telling myself, I keep telling Sasha, I don't really want to talk about Nick Fuentes anymore, right? Unless he's in the news, I don't want to talk about him. But he keeps popping up on the news. He's just a gift that keeps giving. I guess in like Kiwi Farms, if you follow that, he is really going this year for LOL Cow of the Year. Usually it's someone like Ethan Ralph, and now Cicada is in the running for that too. And LOL Cow of the Year, these are people on the internet that just do crazy, stupid shit, and then they win this award by this site called Kiwi Farms. It's kind of funny. And so Nick, because he's had all this stuff, his I don't know all he's had, his the whole homosexuality arc, whatever, he denies it, but he has an issue with women. Let's just be honest about that. Then the rumor with Destiny that I don't think is true. I don't think he was the guy on the other end of oral sex. I think it was someone else. I don't know. I didn't watch the video. I'd rather watch an ISIS video than watch that. So I don't know. I don't care to watch it. But he was good friends with Destiny. They palled around, and he kind of made little goo eyes to him. It was a very strange thing. I met Destiny in person. He's just a little manlet too. Very strange guy. So there's just a lot of strange. And then he had the whole Trump arc, right? Where he threatened Trump's campaign because Nick saw himself in the weird way that he's a kingmaker. I have so much power. I could determine who's president. It's delusional, but that's what makes it funny. Kind of like Chris Chan is another LOL cow from years ago, if you guys know who he is. So these are just like characters, baked Alaska, just crazy people that do weird shit. Speaking of which, Bake Alaska had an issue with macing someone too. He went to jail for it. And then you had the Nick with the Trump campaign, and he made his demands that he didn't like JD Vance because JD Vance is, quote, weird, which is strange coming from Nick. And his campaign manager had to be fired or something like that. And if Trump didn't make these changes, Nick was going to send his groypers to Michigan to tell the Muslims not to vote for Trump, which is ridiculous, right? To see a bunch of so-called groypers, most of them call themselves incels, really going up to Muslims and doing this. So that didn't happen. That was just all hot air. And then he was, up to the very end, he was saying he likes Kamala, he can't stand Trump, and this and that. And then at the minute, like 15 or 30 minutes after Trump wins, he was like, I did it. We did it. We did it. I was secret 4D chest. I was supporting him. Now he's going back and hating on Trump. It's so cringy, right? And then, because he's trying to associate himself to Trump to hurt Trump. I get it. That's the poison in the well thing. Richard Spencer used to be in that role, and David Duke before him. It's an old ploy. It's kind of like Andrew Anglin assigned himself to the alt-right with swastikas and all that bullshit to try to hurt it. A lot of these guys are fed it up. But, and Nick probably is, because the feds were investigating him for January 6th, and then they just dropped it, even though we have video of him urging people to go in the Capitol, ignore the police. And it doesn't matter he didn't go in the Capitol. You're doing that. You're breaking the law. And a lot of people went to prison for that didn't even go in the Capitol. So it's very strange. I think it's a high probability he became an asset. He's not a federal employee, but I think there's a high probability he's an asset. So anyway, part of what you do as an asset is try to break up groups, discourage people, demoralization, that sort of thing. So he was trying to tie Trump to, Trump, if you vote for Trump, we really support raping women. So there was my body, your body, my choice, that meme. And it got everyone all upset. All these women started to cry. And it was a way for idiots to say, see, the Trump supporter, Nick Fuentes, is revealed that he supports rape. And that's just what Trump supports. Just ridiculous shit. I know it's low IQ stuff. But a lot of people really believed it because you try to tell people, until 15 minutes after the election, he was campaigning against Trump. Okay, so let's keep that straight. But, they retcon that. So then he did that. Got all these people all in a fury. And then what happened? Some Yenta, crazy Jewish woman in her 60 years old, went up to give Nick a piece of her mind at his house in Chicago. And he answered the door and immediately maced her. She says he pushed her. I doubt that, but she fell down the stairs and she dropped her phone. And then he picked up the phone and he smashed it. We know it because we have the video. The phone was still recording. The police came. The police said, okay, what happened here? And he said, do you have her phone? He said, yeah. So he turned the phone back over to her. And the police didn't arrest anyone at the time because the police officer told the lady, hey, you shouldn't have gone here in the first place. You're just trying to start trouble, which is true. She's just a troublemaker. And so, in Chicago, you have to understand there's like in a typical weekend, they have like 30 people killed in South Chicago where there's diversity. So they get violent crime, real violent crime all the time. So this was not like, this is just bullshit slap fight, right? No one was really hurt. Now, this nice Jewish woman now, because she's talked to a lawyer, she realizes that she was hurt. She's made up all this stuff about her ribs were bruised or something. And she's suing Nick Fuentes now. But at the time, she said she wasn't hurt. In fact, he was scared. She wasn't. Which isn't good for her case. She gave an interview to like Rolling Stone and really hurt her case, saying Nick was scared, not her. which helps with Nick's argument in the upcoming case. I don't think there'll be a case. I think it'll be a plea bargain. But anyway, so the problem is like, what is self-defense? And I this old Jewish woman, I can't stand her, and she's a troublemaker. But in general, you can only use self-defense when you feel your life is threatened. And I think Nick was reported when he went to the police and why I was in fear of my life because I put out this meme and I saw her come up there, 60-year-old short Jewish lady, and I was in fear of my life. So I maced her. But the problem with that is he's going to have, if he decides to fight this in court, which I doubt his lawyer will have him fight. It's kind of funny, but it probably... the only reason I hedge my bets on this is because he's kind of famous and is Cook County, Chicago, shitlibs central, and they might want to make an example of the white supremacist, right? But so if it'd been anyone else, it's just some homie got in a bitch fight with some other homie, and he maced him and he smashed his phone. They wouldn't even bother to arrest the guy. They wouldn't even bother that. So based on what this is a misdemeanor. It's not a felony. It's like a first degree, though, somewhat serious. He could theoretically get a year up in jail, but I don't think he's got a prior record. And typically in this type of thing, your first offense, and it wasn't anyone really hurt, and it's just she came there, and they probably will bargain it down to something stupid. Well, he'll plead guilty to disorderly conduct, and he'll get like 30 days in prison suspended, which means he won't have to go to jail. And 30 days in jail suspended, and then probation, meaning if he should do something naughty in a year, then he will have to serve that 30 days and maybe a fine. So basically, I think the final analysis will be he won't serve any time in jail or anything like that. And they'll plea bargain to something like disorderly conduct, and he'll be on probation. That doesn't really mean anything. So I don't see any real horrible outcomes out of this legally. But the only reason I'm a little bit cautious with that is our court system is corrupt. And, well, we saw like this, the first case I talked about tonight is about Daniel Penny. If he had been, let's say, a black guy, stopped another black guy from attacking people, they wouldn't have pressed charges. Or if a black guy stopped a white guy from attacking, he'd be a hero, no charges. But because Penny was white and the district attorney has a hatred of white people, she admits to it, it's, or basically admits to it if you hear her talk about it, it's political. So some of these things are political. So the only reason I have a little pause is, he'll get a judge that's probably black, and they won't necessarily follow the rule of law. And who knows, maybe they'll want to make an example out of him because he's an evil white supremacist. But if he was anyone else, there's almost zero chance of a real penalty for this type of thing, for your first offense. There really isn't. That's one of the dirty little secrets about our judicial system is people come and go all the time because there's only about 2% of people that do all the crimes, and they do them over and over and over and over. And they do a crime, they get out. They do a crime, they get out. And, maybe they serve like a week, then they get out. And then eventually when they do a serious crime like a murder, maybe they stay in 10 years. But they usually have a long history of crime. And so this happens. And one of the things I was thinking about is Ethan Ralph had a similar situation with the law recently. And Ethan's one of those people, I've been on the show, but he's one of those people, I'm able to go through life without like being kicked off an airplane or being arrested or all this weird stuff he's had happening to him. And Ethan, he went to Minnesota to try the Rekieta trial or something like that. And you're there. The judge said, okay, you can watch the trial, but you can't videotape it. That was the rule. But Ethan, being Ethan, is like, yeah, fuck you. You're not going to tell me what to do. So he videotaped it or streamed it. And so Minnesota, they filed a contempt charge on him because he was in contempt of court, and he had a warrant outstanding for his arrest, and he lives in Mexico, so it would have been a hassle if he tried to go back in the United States. He would have been arrested, and he may have to pay the fee to send him in chains to Minnesota. But it was a misdemeanor, and he got a plea bargain down to, I think, like a $500 fine and probation, 90 days in jail, suspended, meaning he doesn't have to go to prison. So in a lot of these cases, you really don't go to jail at all. But there is one. Baked Alaska went to jail for macing. Baked Alaska, I like him, kind of a goofy guy if you know who he is. He's one of those guys that streamed and always tried to create content and drama. And he was in a bar and acting obnoxious, so the bouncer kicked him out of the bar. And Baked was mad about it. So he filmed himself going up to the bouncer and macing him. And he was trying to say, oh, it was self-defense because the bouncer pushed me out of the bar. And it's not self-defense if you go back to the bouncer and spray him. So Baked actually had to go to jail for like a month or something like that. I remember that because some people sent Baked books, and Baked said, this is the first time I've ever read a book because when I was in jail. I'm like, wow, okay. How old are you? First time you read a book. Baked's a nice guy, not the most intellectual. But, so maybe, I don't know, maybe there'll be a jail penalty, but I'm kind of doubtful. The case, I don't think he has a strong case to really fight this, because in self-defense, you can only use it when you got to try to de-escalate it. And the problem Nick will have if he goes to trial, they'll say, okay, you were fearful, you feared for your life, this old Jewish woman on your doorstep. Okay. Then you could have just not answered the door and called the police, and the police would have came and, took her out. But instead, you decide to open the door and mace her. So if you were really in fear of your life, you wouldn't have opened the door and escalated the situation. So I think the old Jewish woman, I can't stand her, and she was just trying to cause trouble. But that's the problem he's going to run into. They're like, well, you could have just kept the door closed. You didn't have to escalate it. In a self-defense, you always have to try to de-escalate it. And if you have a way to de-escalate it, and you don't do that, then there's some problems there. So I think his lawyer will tell him to try to get a plea deal, and I don't think anything will really happen of it. I don't know. We'll see, though. Let me just do this link, though, that Rowhouse did here. Let me close this here. Nick Flynn says, alleged, stop this. Okay. Alleged mugshot goes viral after battery booking. And here's his, I joked he kind of looks really Mexican here. Kind of getting fat too. He looks like a guy you see at Home Depot, every morning. And got the gripers all mad at me. They're very thin-skinned people. And so he was booked. Oh, he's 26 years old. Wow, he's getting up there. Oh, Marie Rose. Yeah, that was the woman that he maced. And so, yeah, he didn't have to spend any time in jail, I don't think. He just went in and they booked him, and then he was out. And I think he's got his court date in December 19th, I think. So that should be interesting. Sometimes they delay this, so I wouldn't really I wouldn't read much into that, though. Let me just see his bigger problem right here is the whole Milo, but Marla, that's her name, Marla, not Marie. Marla Rose. It is on fire. P.S. Civil case pending. So she's suing him for all her damages. And I'm sure her parents were Holocaust survivors. Oh, the gassing just brought back genetic memories. So they're going to play that up. I don't know. She just kind of kept talking to the press, what kind of hurt her case. Because initially she said she wasn't hurt. And Nick's the one that looked scared. She wasn't scared. So that really kind of hurts her civil case. But yeah, I'm sure she found a good Jewish lawyer, and now she realizes that she has all these damages. And if I was on the jury, I don't think I would fine for her because she wasn't hurt at the time. This is after she talked to her lawyer. She decided she was hurt, right? So now, mental trauma. I got PTSD, and so uh, this is kind of ridiculous. But on the other hand, Nick's not in a good. He's not in a good position, I would say, for these legal aspects. He's in Cook County, uh, Illinois, and Cook County's always been a very corrupt county, and it's heavily black, and so it's going to be tough. It'd be tough to get a fair trial there, and that's one of the dangers if you live in a shit lib city. Something like this happens. It'd be one thing if Nick lives, let's say, where I live, but Nick didn't want to live where I live because he doesn't like people in the South. He doesn't like blue collar workers. He doesn't like hillbillies. So he wanted to be in a cosmopolitan area where, everyone's fabulous. That's fine, but then you run into these issues. So, yeah, that's where he is. Here we go. If you're going to mace someone, make it count. I recommend Saber Frontiersman High Strength Bear Spray, 30 Kona Pain. Yeah, bear spray can be really good, and it's also good against bears and dogs. Yeah, because at the time, and this is why, what's her name again? Marla, I think is really hurting her case because she said, oh, he sprayed me with some pepper spray or something, but it hardly even hurt. It was real weak, and I could see he was scared. I wasn't scared, and it knocked me down. And it didn't really hurt me, but she was trying to make it that he's like a pussy, even though she's a 60-year-old short woman. But that kind of could theoretically hurt her case now because those statements can be used in court against her. Like, hey, at the time, you didn't go to the hospital. You said you were fine. You made statements later to the media that Nick was scared, not you. And the mace didn't really hurt you. So I think that could potentially hurt her civil case. But the civil case, I think, is more worried. If I was Nick, I'd be more worried about the civil case than the criminal case. The criminal case is probably irrelevant unless, I don't know, unless, he gets a really bad judge. And that's a possibility. And I'll put my stream links in again if someone else wants to call in. You don't have to have your camera on. You want to ask a question or make a comment. Anyway, the drama, it's been a crazy year. I was thinking about this because I had Nick Fuentes years ago before he went the whole America First arc. When he was first getting started, I think he was a teenager. He was on Happy Homelands with me and Tina Veek. He was really a lot different then. He was talented. Nick's a talented guy, but he didn't really go into the whole egomania and crazy arc he's kind of been in now. So it's really changed, but he's been in trouble now. Styx was my co-host of Happy Homelands, and he got arrested. He had to spend time in jail because until he got bailed out, like a few days, because he threw a phone at his girlfriend, supposedly, allegedly, and he got arrested for that because she called. And then Ethan Ralph, I've been on his show, and he had a warrant out for his arrest. So it's been a bad year. Everyone getting arrested and stuff. In trouble with the law. That is what is happening there. So that's, I don't think I have any, I don't have any more Nick stuff really. Hopefully he won't be in the news anymore. But we will see. We will see what happens there. A lot of people are saying, oh, this proves he can't be a Fed if he's charged. Well, that's not the case. Just because you're a federal asset doesn't mean you can do anything. And local police, like if you mace someone, they will still arrest you, right? So it doesn't give you immunity from crime. That's kind of silly. And again, the macing thing, Alaska did that, and he did go to, I think, county for 60 days or something. So I don't know. This was, to be fair, I think Bake's thing was a little bit worse, though, because he was already out of the bar and he went back to the bar to mace the bouncer. That's just, at least Nick can say that she came to his house, which isn't technically illegal, but I don't know. So we'll see what happens there. I don't expect much, though. But it was an interesting development. All the crazy stuff that is happening here. All right. Daniel Penny, though, this is, let's get back to him. And Representative Eli Crane introduced a resolution to award Daniel Penny a Congressional Gold Medal for his heroic actions. You know, we really should be honoring people that do something, that stand up if people are being attacked and hold them down. That's what he did. He chokehold the guy, this bum that had a long criminal history, to protect the other passengers. So we need more people like this. And again, the only reason he's being charged is because the district attorney hates white people and Christians. I mean, it's obvious. And it is it's sad to see, but I think we should reward people like that, or we want people to stand up and you know, if women or older people are in threat, they will stand up to stop this type of behavior. Ideally, this guy shouldn't have been out that died. He shouldn't have been out anyway because he had committed crimes before on the subway. He should have been in prison. But we have a policy of Black Lives Matter. Let's keep all these criminals, if they're black, out on the streets. And we see the issues there. So I'm hopefully the other charges he won't be found guilty on. But the manslaughter charge, the big charge, they couldn't get a conviction on. So they threw that charge out. And I think on Monday, the jury's going back to listen to the negligent homicide charge. This could have been a strategy by the district attorney. Sometimes they overcharge. They know it doesn't meet the burden of proof, but they think psychologically maybe the jury will think, well, we can't charge them with that, but well, we'll get them for something. So I hope that doesn't happen. And I would say I would like Trump to pardon him if he is convicted, but I don't think this is a federal crime. And I think the president can only pardon for federal crimes, unless I'm mistaken. So, and I think this was a state crime in the state of New York. So we will see. All right, let's look at some more crimes here while we're at it. This guy I really loved here. He was fun. This guy's 72 years old, and he shot
at some point today
a Walmart drone. Have you seen those drones? I haven't seen them in real life, but I saw videos where they fly over your house and they drop down a package. I don't know how feasible that's going to be because it's just a matter of time. One of these drones is going to drop a package on a kid or a dog or something. But anyway, they're trying to do this. And this guy wouldn't have anything of it. So let's watch him.
At some point today, did a drone fly over your house and you shoot at it? I'm going to be real blunt with you and ask.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay, why'd you shoot at it?
By the way, this guy, he's kind of funny, but this is, you should never talk to the police one way or the other. Even though he did it, he shouldn't have admitted to it. He should have said, hey, I'm just not going to talk to you. I don't have to talk to you, until he talked to a lawyer, because he admits to it now. So now he can't get out of it.
Because I thought it was somebody and turned around playing games on my house.
I got you. Where did you see the drone at?
Right above me.
What, can you walk out and just kind of show me?
Right there.
Sitting straight above it?
Straight above me.
Do you have any idea?
Hovered, lowered some kind of cord down or something, turned around and sent something back up, and then after it was shot at, it turned around and went north.
Gotcha. Okay. What'd you shoot at it with?
9mm.
Okay. All right.
How much trouble am I in?
Well, you're in a lot of trouble. You can't shoot a gun in a residential neighborhood. It's kind of funny. I'm kind of sympathetic with this guy, but
quite a bit. You've been honest with me. I'm gonna be honest with you. Quite a bit, actually.
This is what's so weird, because you could tell he's probably lived a decent life his whole life, never been in trouble, good taxpayer. I don't know. I'm just looking at him. He's probably is that way. And the cop knows this, that this guy's not a threat to society. But this is how good people get caught up in the law.
So there's a federal charge that goes along with it.
Oh, a federal charge.
There's a felony charge that goes along with it. That's kind of like where we're at.
Okay.
Okay.
What happens and what happens and what?
Well, before we continue this conversation, I'm really just, for you being honest, you really just took me off guard. I'm not
What
going
am
to
I? What am I going to do? I'm going to lie.
True. All right, sir. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say
You're up
will
putting
be...
me under arrest.
I'm just
Arresting me?
going to arrange you the Miranda warning just so I can get it out. That way you and I can continue our conversation, okay?
I understand the Miranda warning. I don't have to speak to you unless I want an attorney. Okay.
I got you. Let me just read you this real quick, and then we'll go from there, okay? You have the right to remain silent?
You should have remained silent to begin with.
Go ahead, Serge.
All right, I'm going to skip ahead, and it's really funny.
Yeah.
After they arrested him here, let's get to the end part.
So I must be a good shot.
Oh, he shot it. He said,
Never left. I went inside, went into the safe, got the weapon, came out, tried to shoot it off again. It didn't move. I fired one round at it. Now they say I hit it, so I must be a good shot,
it's a good shot.
or else it's not that far away. So I'm under all sorts of, they say there's $10,000 worth of damage to the drone and all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to wind up having to find a real good defense lawyer.
Yeah, he shouldn't have talked.
Coffee in the front.
Whatever you need to do by protocol.
Well, no, we have,
You've been fine. There's no issues. We're not,
yeah.
Just let me know if it's too tight, all right?
I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I
I can't breathe. I
can't
can't
breathe.
The guy's pretty funny. He's going to be in a lot of trouble. I don't think he understood the serious nature of it. But he is funny. The Florida man, Trump, pardon him of the federal charge of that. Pardon him. Those damn things, they are annoying. So I would like to see him pardon for the federal crime on that. But yeah, I don't know. That is going to be irritating, all these damn drones flying over your house. Oh, they're going to be shot at where I live. I can tell you that already. I'm not, but I'm just saying. I hear gunfire around here quite a bit, but it's not like the gunfire in the city where they're shooting at people or getting animals or whatever. But yeah, you could do that. You're like, hey, I'm shooting at a squirrel. And hey, what can I'm a bad shot. I was trying to shoot the squirrel and I shot high and I shot the drone. Oops. Things like that happen. But actually you shouldn't say anything. So, but yeah, that was a kind of a humorous story here. All right, we gotta listen now to remember Tim Walz? He was that weirdo from Minnesota that was Kamala's running mate. That seems like so long ago. He was a guy that when he was a high school teacher, he started a homosexual club for boys. Yeah, it's totally normal. And his role, and they thought this was a good idea, that you're going to be the doofy white guy like we see on commercials with the empowered black woman, which is Kamala. And I'm just a dumb white guy. That was the job he was supposed to play, right? And it didn't work. Everyone couldn't stand this guy. And let's just listen to him here, right here. It's not long. He does a little comment on this. Here we go.
Going to have to understand. I think we're going to have to understand what type of leadership do they want. We were pledging to be inclusive. We were pledging to bring people in.
Inclusive, that means non-white, unless you're gay.
Donald Trump has said that isn't what he wants. And so if that's what America's leaning toward.
Well, and it's interesting because if you look at Donald Trump, he's brought in Indians, he's nominated women. I think the Treasury Secretary is a homosexual. So Trump has brought them in, but Trump's stance was that is not his criteria. He looks at what he thinks is going to be good for the job, and then the other stuff he doesn't care about. I don't know if that's really true. He probably does look a little bit at that. But I think people are tired of the whole DEI thing where you pick a person first because they're black or they're a lesbian or they're a one-legged midget. That's why you pick them.
I guess for me, it's to understand and learn more about America, because I thought that they were going to probably move towards a more positive message.
So he's saying the reason they're lost is your fault, not his. He did a great job. They just wanted to be, they were positive, and they want to be inclusive, and they want to give illegals free sex changes that you guys would pay for. And we just don't understand. He can't understand why you guys are so ignorant and bigoted that you didn't want to vote for that. It's not his fault. It's your fault. You didn't understand that they were just positive with that message, and for some reason that didn't resonate. That didn't resonate. All right, here, let's see. And it's good to be here with you guys tonight. And just as a reminder, I put in the link if you guys want to call in and make a comment. K-Max already called in. Maybe I'll do that again. If you call in, you don't have to have your, in fact, I won't put the camera on. Even if you put your camera on, I'm going to block it. So I'll just get your voice. You can always disguise your voice if you're worried about that. I'll put the link in here if you guys want to try it. All right, let's see here. Oh, and we're not going to do Night Owls tonight. Now, Night Owls is kind of hit and miss. We do it. It's our optional show that I do with Sasha. And we got stuff to do early in the morning. So she works late at night. But I'll be back at it Sunday. If you're part of my Gumroad or GroupApp, or Substack, we will have our roundtable on noon on Sunday. I'm looking forward to that. I don't think I'll be online much tomorrow. I got stuff to do tomorrow with Sasha, with her house and stuff, and her dad's old house. So, and then we're going to a Christmas party tomorrow night. Our friend Dave, and we always look forward to that. That's a yearly event. He puts on a great party. We have a great time, play games or whatever. Great food, lovely wife, a beautiful house. So, looking forward to that. Boy, it's really, it comes quick, the Christmas. I heard Christmas music on the radio today. It's kind of nice. K-Max, in Daniel Penny's case, reverse of races. A black man takes out a racist KKK member yelling slurs on a bus at black people, Rams. The black guy takes him out and passes away. The media and ADL reaction. Oh, they would hail him as a hero. There's no doubt about that. This is, they want to basically have it after George Floyd, but it's not really sticking that well anymore. But they want to have it basically in the law that as a white person, you can never harm a person of color ever, even in self-defense. Now, black people can, they can. That's really how they want to do it, to try to demoralize us. So that is the reason behind it. Thank you for that, though. That was a good message there. Oh, I got someone. Nathan, welcome to the RAMZPAUL show. How are you doing, Nathan?
I'm doing well. How are you, Paul?
Good. What's your question or your comment?
I don't know. I just got the notification. I just got out of a Christmas caroling gig. I run a Christmas caroling company, and I just wanted to pop on and say Merry Christmas. I'm in the Christmas spirit, and
I am too. So now, what's your favorite carol, you personally?
Probably The Most Wonderful Time of the Year or Winter Wonderland. I like both those. We're kind of like a pop jazzy quartet.
Yes, my great uncle actually went to school, was friends with a guy that wrote Sleigh Ride. Remember that song? That's a very popular one.
Sure do. Yeah, we do that one.
He was friends with that guy. It was kind of just my connection with that. But
that's awesome.
I like them. I like Old Holy Night. I like Silver Bells is a nice one too.
Yep, we do those too.
Yeah, I like the oldies.
We just
I always get into the thing with Sasha because she gets tired of it. And I go, for Christmas, I can listen to the, the music. And then after Christmas, we just put it away for a year.
Oh yeah, 100%. So cool. Yeah, just wanted to pop on and say Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Right. God bless you.
Right.
Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
All right. Thank you for Nathan. That was a real nice call. I was worried that more people would call in and say, "You boomer! You're a boomer Jew." So, they used to always call me gay too, but it's kind of harder now. So, yeah. All right, let's take a look. And you guys, the links there if you want to call in and say hi. See, it's really not very painful. You can use any name you want, and you're safe. All right.
So
Let's listen to this here. All right. So just by looking at her, already we're going to get a midwit's point of view here. I can tell this already.
the example of transgender people serving in our military.
Well, first of all, there's no such thing as transgender. There's two sexes, male and female, for humans. Now, earthworms, they don't. They're a little bit different, but most animals, they don't have a gender. They're sex, male or female. It's important. Gender is just for typically for like language. Nouns have a gender. People used to know this. Z-Man actually tweeted or posted about this too. Maybe it's just older people. We were taught this, but no younger people don't understand this. But nouns can be gendered. In fact, there's masculine, feminine, indeterminate, right? Like a chair is just indeterminate. And I forget all the designations. But living things don't have a gender. They have a sex. Okay. So you can't have transgender because there's not two genders. There's zero genders in living things. There's a sex. So there's a male sex and a female sex. Now you could be a male and wear a dress and put on makeup, but it doesn't change your gender because you don't have a gender, and it doesn't change your sex because you can't change your sex. Yeah, you can cut off your dick and balls and you can put on a dress, but you're just a man without dick and balls with the dress. That's all you are, right? Or a woman, you can cut off your tits, but and take hormones to grow a beard, but you're just a bearded woman that we used to have in a freak show. You're not a man.
We have transgender people serving in our military.
Yeah, and that should be illegal because when you're in the military, you have a dress code based on your sex, male or female.
They will bleed red just as the rest of us.
Are we really doing this? Are we really doing in 2024 the whole bleed red argument? Really? Are we really doing this? You know how stupid this argument is? As I said earlier this year, there's this big ass snake, like 6 feet long. It's climbing up my house. I was trying to get it off with a broom. I was trying to be nice. And it was being an asshole. It was curling, hissing at me. It was dark. I didn't know. It turned out it wasn't venomous. I felt bad for it. It's just a black snake. But I went in the house. I got my axe. I was like Jack Nicholson in The Shining, right? I came out and just went, and I cut off his head. And it bled red. So what does this mean? Most living things that have hemoglobin, they bleed red. Child molesters bleed red. So mass murderers bleed red. So what is this argument about bleeding red?
But I also take a stance that we should not be integrating transgender people into a certain situation.
Well, there are no such things as transgender people. You're confusing an innate attribute with a behavior. That's like no one is innately a rapist. And we call people rapists if they rape. They're doing an action, so we call them a rapist, but they're not inherently a rapist. Or like a thief. If you steal, you're a thief. We use that term. But that's not like, I was born a thief and I bleed red. You bigot, I bleed red. So that means something, I guess. I don't know what it means. It's weird. They just throw something out there like that. And it's, did you know that child molesters, they also breathe air? Yeah, so why is that a point? But they always like to do that bleed red thing.
Where it does make, if you have a female barracks and you have a transgender woman who is not transitioned.
There aren't transgender women. There's a man dressed as a woman. Men don't belong in women's barracks. Now, it gets confusing because I'm old school. I don't think women should be in the Army proper. I don't mind having like a woman's, they used to have, I think they called it the WAC, wasn't that? The Women's Army Corps in World War II. So I don't mind women being adjacent to the Army, have like their own group where they can do some things. I don't know, make the sandwiches or something. So I'm not against that, but they shouldn't be with men. And a man should never report to a woman in the armed services. That should never happen. So that you shouldn't have women in that capacity in the first place. And I'm old school where for years, if you're, again, homosexuality, I don't think is an innate thing. It's a behavior. So they don't tolerate in the armed services for a long time. They didn't tolerate homosexuality. And obviously to dress up like a woman wasn't tolerated. In fact, if you guys ever remember back in the 70s, there was a TV show called MASH. There was a character called Corporal Klinger. And he dressed up like a woman in hopes that he would be kicked out of the army on what they called a Section 8, meaning he was crazy. Because it was understood if you're a man, that you would dress up like a woman and you thought you were a woman, you had a mental illness. And so you couldn't be in the army because there's something wrong with your brain. But now it's something like we celebrate.
We shouldn't make the rest of the unit uncomfortable about that setting. There are certain accommodations we can make for that transgender individual.
Well, they don't have, anyone that behaves in such a manner doesn't belong in the military. That's the accommodation we will make. It's not that complicated.
But if they bring value to our unit, if they have specialties that we can use, especially if we want to maintain an all volunteer force, we want to bring that talent into our services. And
really, do they really bring some unique talent by being in pumps and a dress? Really? I don't really understand that. In fact, if anything, this harms, because guys that want to go in the military, they want the brotherhood. They don't want it to be some like campy drag show you would see in San Francisco in some underground bar in the 70s.
And I know that's controversial, but again, I'm looking at what's good for our nation. And believe me, when we're facing a recruiting challenge right now, if people are physically willing and able to serve our country, we want them to do so.
But this actually harms it because, again, guys don't, we know this because they did all these, the Army woke advertising. Remember, they started to target their advertising to, Emma has 2 mommies. It was some girl that had 2 lesbian mothers. I'll put that in quotes. And she spent her time going to pride parades and all this other degenerate stuff. And then she decided, I want to join the Army. And so somehow the Army thought this is, this is our demographic, our girls that have been raised by lesbian women. That's who's going to be our warriors in the future. And guess what? They didn't get many of those, but the white guys that actually fight, they didn't want to go into such an army. So it has the opposite effect, I would say. The more you push this transgenderism, the fewer men that are normal that are going to want to join the Army. You don't want to join the Army. You have this idea, again, of the Brotherhood of Warriors, man, led by someone, I'm reading about the Revolutionary War, like George Washington, a brave man. What would you think if George Washington was in pumps and a skirt, right? And in hose? I feel fabulous today, guys. Oh, I mean, maybe the Groypers would like that, but most people wouldn't really care for something like that. They don't want that. And most of the men that are going to go into the service don't want that. So I think that is a mistake here. All right. Hope you guys are having a great night. I'm having a good night. It's good to be with you. I'll probably go to bed early night too. Get up early in the morning. Make my drive to Fayetteville. I was actually in Fayetteville earlier today. I went out to lunch with Sasha and I came back. But I'm going to drive out tomorrow because I forgot some of my computer stuff. So I couldn't do the show from the apartment. And I prefer to do the show here anyway. All right. Update of the CEO killer. The adjuster. Here he is. Police believe the suspected gunman who killed United Healthcare CEO has left New York City. I don't know why they haven't arrested this guy. How do they, if they know where he went, why don't they get him now? I don't really understand this. What's really weird, it's like, it's like, yay, hey, Pop Crave, thanks for including a map of the United States. This looks like a map, when you're in elementary school, you have on the wall, at least when I was in school, they did that. It's kind of cool. I like maps, but I have no idea why they included a map. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And here's this guy. I guess he was flirting with a girl. This is supposed to be the suspect. Alleged. He hasn't been found guilty. And, but he's on the loose. He's on the run. They haven't caught him yet. Hey, I got a someone else. Blue Eyes, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
You're a boomer!
I am a boomer. I know who you are. Boomer. Thank you. I know who
That's
this
all I have.
is. I know who that is. Thank you, Blue Eyes. So he's a good supporter. I'm not really a boomer. I still say I'm Generation X, but that's okay. That'd be really weird, like in real life. See, when I go to conferences, no one ever goes up to you and go, Boomer Jew! It's like, what? It's just really autistic stuff you see online. They remind me a little bit of the people that used to follow England. I think some of these people are astroturfs. Maybe they're feds. But it's just really weird how they're just like, just crazed. Yeah, thank you, though, for the boomer thing. Let's see here. It's funny how boomer has become such an insult. I use it. I mean, you could ask Sasha. When we go to the store, I'm like, yeah, there's some stupid boomer trying to park in this parking spot. It's taking her forever. I say that all the time. And it's funny that boomer has become an insult because that generation was just before me in the 60s. I was just a little kid in the 60s, but, you know, the summer of love. And they had the whole thing of, yeah, man, don't trust anyone over 30. They're all square. The generation gap, you know, they were all about hating older people. So now they're old and everyone's making fun of them. So it's kind of it is kind of some karma coming back, I guess. So it's kind of funny. Boomers. I don't really get into the whole generation politics other than Generation X is the best. You know who reminds me of boomers are millennials. They really do. Millennials are, I think I like Zoomers better than millennials. Millennials are, and there's good millennials, but they're just so, I don't know. They remind me a lot of boomers. All right. Let's see. So anyway, the gunman is still on the loose. He's still, it's weird because they got his face and everything. But if you see him, watch out. Watch out. He's armed and dangerous. Let's see here. The other thing that was funny, I saw Milo's kind of a guilty pleasure. And don't get me wrong, this guy is Milo I don't trust. He's kind of a snake. He really is, but he's funny. And he went on the Alex Stein show, which I think Alex Stein, I met him, I had him on my show. But, you know, he won't have anything to do with me now. I've seen his progression. He's such a grifter, right? I mean, I know that term is overused. I don't think he has any real position. He just wants, you know, he got famous doing that COVID thing. And Milo went on his show. It was hilarious. You should watch the whole thing. Milo was just insulting him because I think Alex is now on the Blaze or something. And Milo was being catty and assaulting them. Now they're having this big fight. And I guess Alex Stein bragged he had sex with Marjorie Taylor Greene or something. And so Milo called him out on that. So they're going back and forth, and it was pretty funny. So if you guys get a chance, check out that episode of Milo going after Alex Stein. I'm not a big Alex Stein fan now. I have to be honest. I think he's fake. He's getting kind of heavy too, but he's I don't know. It just looks fake to me. I mean, he's on the Blaze, for God's sakes. I mean, that's just one step up from gay porn. Right after the Blaze, then there's gay porn. So that's basically the next. I guess I'll never be on the Blaze now, but that is pretty well true here. And let's see what else I had here. Oh yeah, here's a clip for this. This was kind of funny. I'll just show you guys this. And it was funny because Milo, he's real catty, but he told Alex was trying to do one of his old jokes, and Milo said, "Oh, you got to get a new joke. How many years have you done that same joke?" And Alex was really getting pissed off. It was really funny. And so here's Alex. He's got this goofy hat because I guess that's funny or whatever. So let's just take a look at this. Some of this.
I knew that the set dressing of this show was dreary, but I had no idea how bad it was until I got here.
They say it looks like a...
My God.
They say it's like a pornography.
Like everything else to do with your career, it is phoned in.
Like everything else due to your career is phoned in.
I don't want to hear that,
Phoned
Milo.
in.
I don't want to hear that. I'm
Phoned
not
in.
Nick.
No, but
I'm not Lauren Loomer.
you know, I adore you. I adore you, but you've been one of the great disappointments of my life.
Why is that? How am I the disappointment? I like
You were
to get
the well, you were the future once, my darling, and you should look.
Why? Because I'm too goofy? What do you mean I'm not the future?
No, you're really one of those people that sort of was trying to be famous for so long, and then you had a little taste of it, and you just threw it away. By not,
What do you
by
mean?
not-
Wait, explain this,
Fine.
Milo.
Let me explain.
How did I throw it away? I'm the pimp on a blimp.
I explain it with
Charlie Kirk.
I don't know what that means. Nobody knows what that means. I explain it through the medium of the text messages I had with your producer.
Please, my producer sucks. You know, I hate my producer. He went to Princeton. He's an idiot.
And whose fault is that?
I know I should have hired him. Look at his face. He sucks. No, my producer is an idiot.
And do you recall the
You
conversation?
don't judge me on my producer. Jimmy, tell Milo how much I hate you.
Who am I supposed to judge if not you?
You have to admit this, Milo. Nick Fuentes, and I'll have to clip this, is funny.
Out of the two of you, he's funny, yes. But
Oh my God!
The two of you, yes, he's funny. He goes on and on. Check it out. Milo was just real catty in that interview. Sasha showed it to me today, and I was just laughing. Again, I don't trust Milo, and but he can just tear apart people in his own way. And I guess Alex Stein got really mad and blocked him. And they had to cut part of the interview out because Milo has this claim, which I'm not saying is true, but he's saying that Laura Loomer is not really Jewish. She just made that up in 2017 because she didn't like Muslims, but you know, a lot of Jewish people have power. So she pretended to be a Jew. Her mother's not even Jewish and her father has some Jewishness in him, but she never went to the synagogue or anything like that. She's not Jewish is what he's saying. And she didn't even know how to draw a Star of David. You know, it's just one triangle, then the upside down triangle. That's all you do. He said that she's going up to talk to all these Jews in Florida, and she didn't know how to draw the Star of David, and she drew a pentagram instead. And he had to say, no, darling, that's not how you draw. That's not a Star of David. And so supposedly that's all fake. And then supposedly when she was running for Congress, he says that she was sexually molesting some young guy that didn't want anything to do with her. And then she kept trying to crawl in his bed and he was grossed out. Said, get away from me, get away from me. He said, Milo, how do I keep her away from me? And then Milo confronted her or something. Then she threatened suicide. It was just, you go to Milo's feed and you get the whole story. It was hilarious. So, the personalities in this sphere are so fucking weird. They really are. Just all the behind the scenes stuff, just crazy stuff that happened with Richard Spencer. Remember Matt Heimbach, the cuck box, watching his, was it his stepfather or his wife's father having sex? It was just some weird thing. There's so many weirdos. And I'm probably a weirdo too. I'm a weirdo, but I'm like normal compared to some of these people. So who knows? Maybe even she's not really Jewish. But I heard, Milo used to pretend to be Jewish. I don't think he really is. So I don't know. It's just one of those things that it was just humorous to say the least. All right. So it was just kind of a fun session tonight. Today I just wanted to kind of kick back and just talk with everyone. Had a couple of people call in. Thank you so much. It was a lot of fun. And as a reminder, we're not going to do night owls tonight. We may do it maybe Sunday night. I don't know. I'll have to see with Sasha if she wants to do it. But next week, a full battery of shows. I'll be doing Happy Homelands again. And did you guys like Alicia? Let me know. We had a good show, I thought. So it's good to kind of reboot that. So I've been doing a lot of different things. Keep it fresh, man. You got to keep it fresh, not do the same thing. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.